Hi everyone, it's Cody here with How I See It, where I inspire you every day to see the world how I see it. Today I'm going to be showing you all how to make a large and luscious bow for on top of a mailbox. So this bow is going to be large and in charge and beautiful for on top of a mailbox display. So I'm going to be making my bow mainly with my hands today, but I will be using my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker to assist me in putting my bow together and holding it together just as an extra set of hands. All right. So for my bow, I have decided to go with a bumblebee theme. Now you can use any ribbons that you like, right? Any color ribbon. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. Any color ribbons will do. The most important thing for this style is to keep in mind the sizes of the ribbons and the technique in which I am using. So for my first ribbon, I'm going to be using a 2.5-inch black and yellow plaid. And then I'm going to I have 5 ribbons total. The second ribbon is going to be a 2.5-inch black and white harlequin print, which is one of my absolute favorite ribbons ever. I love black and white harlequin. Third is going to be this cute daisy print with this bumblebee. This is a 2.5-inch ribbon as well. And fourth, is going to be this cute honeycomb print. So this almost has like a honeycomb on here. Super, super cute. And then to top it off, I'm going to put the Swiss dot on here in the black and yellow. So we may, as I'm working, jazz them up, flip them around, but this is going to be the 5 ribbons that I use. 2.5-inch, 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 1.5-inch, 1.5-inch. They are all wired ribbon. All right, so which that means is that they all have wire going through the edge of the ribbons so that no matter how you flip or bend that wire, it holds nice and true to the way that it is bent. Love working with just wired ribbon. All right, so now I'm going to stack these up on my table beside me. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. To assist me in putting this bow together, I'm going to use some pipe cleaners and possibly some zip ties as well. So for my first layer of my bow, I'm going to work with this plaid print. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll off some of this. And I am going to start with the center of my bow. So my hands is going to be the center of my bow. And I'm going to make me a twist. I'm going to go up about 2 inches and make a twist. Then I'm going to make me a loop. And then I'm going to pinch back there in the middle. And this is going to be, let's make this bigger. This is going to be about an 8-inch loop. Let's go nice and big, 8-inch loop. Right, just like that. Then I'm going to twist here in the middle. And I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going to bring this ribbon up to the middle. Pinch. And we want to make sure that they are the same size. So I'm going to pull both of these up and see that they are around the same size. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist again, and I'm going to repeat the same process one more time. Measure that out. So see, that one's a little bit longer, so we can bring that one in just a little bit. Pinch. Twist my ribbon. Bring this up. Just like that. Now I'm going to slide this into my bow maker, because remember, this is my extra set of hands. And I'm going to measure about 2 or 3 inches out, and I'm going to cut. Just like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of fan these out. So this is layer number 1, if you will. I'm just gonna mess with these and make sure they're nice and pretty. And I'm not worried about this tail here, because we can cut that off later. All right, next we're gonna go in with our next ribbon, which is our black and white Harlequin. And I am going to do the same thing, except I'm only going to have 2 loops, and I'm going to want to have 1 on each side. So I'm going to measure up about 2 to 3 inches, do that twist, just like that. Measure out that loop, maybe just a little bit longer. Pinch. All right. Twist. It's so much easier to do a hand bow whenever you can work 1 layer at a time. Just like that. And we're going to stick that right in there. Measure out just about 2 to 3 inches, and I'm going to cut. So notice I'm not adding any tails to this bow. No tails to this bow. And there's a reason why, and I'll tell you why later on. All right, next I'm going to go in with our bumblebee. Super cute bumblebee. And we're going to do the same thing with this layer that we did with the Harlequin layer. This is another 2.5 inch ribbon. We're going to go up about 2 to 3 inches, make that twist, make a loop about 8 inches. So we're keeping 8 inches as our running theme here so that we have a nice large bow. Y'all, I love these large bows like this because they make great statement pieces. They're nice to add to any of your designs, and they're also great for selling as well. Same thing, slide this in here. And cut. Just like that. So now you can see I've spread these apart so that they go in a diagonal, so there's still 4 loops total. We just have 2 of the Harlequin and 2 of the Bumblebee Daisy. Next I'm going to go in with my honeycomb print. So now we're moving into 1.5 inch ribbons. 1.5 inch ribbons. So I'm going to do a twist, just as before, nothing's changed. Come back up to the middle, pinch, twist. I'm just going to keep making a few loops here. Remembering just to use that first loop as my guide to how big this is. Now for this layer, I want to do 3 on each side. So there'll be 6 loops total. Twist. Set that right inside of there. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure right here in the center of my bow maker so that when I'm tugging on my loops here, I don't pull anything through. I don't want to pull any of my loops through. Super cute. And next up was going to be my Swiss dot, which is another 1.5 inch. We'll do the same technique. We're going to go up a few inches and do a twist. A little bit longer, y'all. Okay, 8 inches. Twist. All right, just like that. And I'm going to repeat the same process so that I have 2 loops on each side, 4 loops total. Just like that. Go ahead and cut this off here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to snip this off too, just because that's a little bit crazy. Now, what I'm going to do is I am done with the first layer of my bow. Now, remember, I said this is going to be a large and in charge bow. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to keep building on top of this bow and keep adding more and more to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat a couple of my layers just to add a little bit more to the bow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with my first ribbon that we started with, which was this 2.5 inch. And I'm going to do a twist because I want everything to kind of blend from the top to the bottom. Keeping with that 8 inches, y'all. Twist. Slide this in there. So remember with when we did our first 1.5 inch ribbon, which was this honeycomb here, we did 3 loops, right? So what I'm going to build here is 3 loops on each side, 6 loops total, but each loop is going to be different. Each loop is going to be one of those 2.5 inch ribbons that we used, which was the plaid, the harlequin, and that bumblebee daisy print. So next up was our harlequin. Twist. Insert that right in there. Fan that out. So we have our plaid in the middle, and then we'll have harlequin on the top on one side and a harlequin on the bottom on the other. Next up is that daisy bumblebee. I'm going to measure up, twist, make that loop. Y'all, making large bows is so simple whenever it's broken down into small pieces. Twist. Insert right there. Snip. Adding a little bit of pressure there in the middle so that I can fan this out. All right, now I want to bring my 1.5 inch ribbons back up to the top. So I'm going to build one more time with each of these, which was our 1.5 inch ribbons, because if we just had the 1.5 inch ribbons on the inside down here where we did it before, there wouldn't be anything in the center of our bow that's smaller, so it would be too large in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to twist. Make that loop, twist again. Insert that in there. Snip. And we're going to do the same thing with our black and yellow dot. Twist. Insert that right there, just like that. Now, we're done building our bow. I know you're probably like, oh my goodness, is he ever gonna stop? So we're finished now building our bow. So now we've got to get it all together nice and tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed a zip tie through the bottom, through the top. I'm going to start to click this zip tie. Now I can pull up this bow. It's a big one, y'all. And we can tighten this up. I can set my bow maker aside now. And now it's time for us to fluff up our big luscious bow. So now that your zip tie is pulled nice and tight, you can go ahead and you can go in and you can snip off any of that extra ribbon that you feel may be seen. Can fluff this up. So I'm going to hold here in the middle. And as I'm building, I can see where some of those tails can be cut. I always just like to leave a little bit extra so that nothing gets pulled through. Make sure that you're being very cautious too, not to cut your loops. All right, now we'll work on this side. It's super important when you're fluffing that you keep in mind your pattern that you made. So we had Harlequin on this side, so we want Harlequin on this side. B on this side, so we want B over here on this side. this be here. Just like that, y'all. Now we can go on and we can add some tails to this big, large bow. So let's add some tails. I always like to add my tails at the end because, frankly, it's easier because it's easier to fluff your bow and all of that. But it's also easier to control how long you want your tails to be and all of that. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to leave my bow just like this. And I'm going to select some of my ribbons that I want to be in my tails. So we don't have to use all of our ribbons, but we're going to use this one here. And let's do 2-foot tails. 2-foot tails. So I'm going to measure out 2 feet. And then 2 feet again. So I'm making 4-foot cuts here. So I've cut one, and this is going to be used as my template. So now I can go in and use this as my guide. Get back here. And let's do the Harlequin. Clean up this edge here. So these are 4-foot strips, which is going to be folded in half to give us 2-foot tails on each side. Let's do the Swiss dot. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack all of these on top of each other. And I'm going to do the 2.5-inch ones on the bottom. Set my bow out of my way. I'm going to fold this in half. Like so. I'm going to pinch up the middle. And I'm going to add me a zip tie here in the middle. Could also use a pipe cleaner. Now I can easily go in. I have my tails facing away from me. I'm going to add a pipe cleaner on here. Oops. I can easily go in and add this to my bow. So this pipe cleaner will be used to attach wherever I'm going to be attaching it to. I'm going to sit my bow on top of here, and I'm going to feed around with one more pipe cleaner. Just like this. Now, of course, you can take our 2 pipe cleaners that are here. You can make them longer because you're going to want it to be longer to go on top of your mailbox posts, if that's where you're going to be actually putting this large and in charge bow. But a little tip for these large bows like this is this is also a gorgeous bow to use as anybody got any guesses? As a Christmas tree topper. Christmas tree topper. And you can use the same technique and you can add the tails to be as long as your tree. So that's why I like to add the tails at the end, because you can make them longer to be the length of your tree. Super cute. So then, of course, you could dovetail your ends. You could leave them open however you would like. Super, super pretty, large, and in charge bow. And then, of course, it'll look gorgeous setting up on your mailbox. Spread right across the top. And, of course, you can add your pipe cleaners around through here and secure it around your mailbox. Super, super cute. All right, y'all, I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial and it inspires you to make some large and in charge bows. In the meantime, you all be kind to one another and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.